Hello and welcome back to the Spinnin Backfist MMA show. It is Robbie, Jack Mack, and Big Ev as always. And we've got an interview with another champ today. We interviewed Alexander Volkanovski the last week. Now we've got Aljamain Sterling right here at Barstool HQ. I'm going to throw to that right away. Here is Aljamain Sterling. All right, welcome back to the Spinnin Backfist podcast. We are here with the champ, the undisputed champ, Aljamain Sterling, the Funk Master. How you doing?
Doing good. It's a beautiful day in New York City.
It is. It's a very nice day out in New York City. Yeah. How are you feeling a couple weeks off the fight now? I saw you were posting on Instagram. You're getting up in weight.
Yeah, I'm a little hefty right now, but this is the phase of the Chunk Master, and then we get back to the Funk Master when we get that contract signed. So right now I'm just kind of hanging out, enjoying life, and taking it all in.
Is this the heaviest you've been after a fight?
I think by far the heaviest I've been. I've been 172, but then 176, that was like, I was like, wow, we are pushing the limits here.
Pushing middleweight.
Yeah, I think it's time to kind of cut back on the calories a little bit.
What have you been indulging in since the fight? What's been the thing?
Well, New York pizza, of course. Jamaican food. Definitely got crushed my beef patties. And ice cream, chocolates. So I got like this thing with chocolate, man. If I get a bag, like I get a big bag of like Reese's or Snickers or the Ghirardellis. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll get
Ghirardelli,
that.
yeah.
And I would just eat the entire thing in one sitting until I'm just sick. My fiance is just like, you have a problem. I'm like, I know this, but it is what it is. Like I get all this things we got to do with like training and stuff like that, and it's tough. It's a long training camp, 13 months. And so sometimes I relapse a little bit with the sugar rush, and I think it's now I had to like get the bag away from me.
Yeah.
How are you? How would you grade your performance on the Fuck You tour? Because I appreciate it.
I mean, I think I could step it up a little bit more. I think I could rub it in their faces a little bit more. People think I'm actually upset, like, oh, he won, but he's still complaining. He doesn't really believe he won. I'm like, really? Trust me, I believe I won that fight, 100%. I just enjoy reading the comments and just kind of just giving it back to the fans that gave it to me. So if you guys could do it for 13 months, I'm sure enough you could take it for 2-3 weeks. But we're gonna go a little longer than that.
Yeah. Sure.
That's cause I wanted to get it like just off the rip. We keep it real here. We do a parlay every week. We had Yan in. So in theory, I keep it real with you. I'm sitting right here, I'm looking at you like,
It's okay.
we thought you were gonna lose. I will say on the record, we're on record. Me and Rob were both rooting for you though. I'm from New York. Alex seen the world burn. I was on record as well though, even though I said I thought you were gonna lose. I said I thought you got an unfair deal, kind of the way everything went down. Like the fans loved you before, like the knee and everything.
Yeah.
And I felt you didn't get a good break the way that went down. Like I felt it was unfair the way it just felt like everybody turned on you.
Oh, 100%. And for me, that was a weird twist because he threw the illegal knee, and I was the one that was actually hurt. But somehow it turned into becoming an actor, dodging the fight. I'm like, dude, I couldn't work out. So they saw a picture of me and Sayudo. I said, let's just take this picture to get a teaser in case you do decide to come back. This is a photo that we can use. And they took that and it's like, oh, he's running from Yan. He doesn't want to fight Yan again. I'm like, how did this just got flipped? I'm like, all right, we'll just take it and run with it. Because no matter what you say, you can talk to your blue in the face and people are still going to say what they want to say anyway. So I just kind of just let it stick. I'm like, all right, if this is the stick they want, if I'm no longer the people's champ, then I'll just do a little heel turn and still just be me. I'm still having fun with it. I don't got to force anything. Just make a couple of cool shirts, and that's it.
Was there any moment in the second or third round that you thought you were going to get the sub in?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
When I got it the first time and I checked the clock, I looked up, I was like, oh, this guy gave me 3 minutes to work on his back. This is a bad place to be. So in my head, I'm thinking like, this is at least a bare minimum 10-8 round.
Yeah.
Just based on control time and flatten him out, landing some elbows, landing some big shots. And then there's the criers on the interwebs saying like, the Boohoo Yan fans saying, you did no damage. You just hugged him. I'm like, show me where I did no damage, because I'm very, very confused, because he thought he won the second round.
That was weird when he said that.
I'm like,
that's crazy. Yeah.
I think Buddy's head was hurting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, I think you might have had a little bit of a concussion there, because I don't know how in hell you thought you won the second round. But yeah, I thought I was going to get the choke, but he did a great job just grabbing my wrist and freezing me and not giving me chances to really like work under the neck. And I had to be conscious of that, because you can't do too much when you're not wearing a shirt. And he definitely doused himself with water. There's in between rounds, you can see it. He just pours a bunch of water on him, and they're supposed to typically wipe us dry.
But
They didn't do that for either one of us. So in that moment, I'm like, I don't want to do too much and try to force the choke and give him a way to spin into my guard.
Yeah,
so you got to be very, very
yeah.
careful about that. So I had to make sure I maintain that underhook with the right hand, and then if I could, switch to the left hand and then try to finish the choke. But he did a great job, man. I would say he was more prepared this time than he was last time, 100%. He felt stronger. He felt quicker, and his defense was a lot tighter. Even though the first fight was kind of sloppy, like there was positions that I should have gotten, but not eating the day of the fight. I felt really, really weak and felt like I was still cutting weight. But I felt like if I showed up the way I was supposed to, I would have smoked him that fight. I feel that first round takedown that I got, that normally would have been the fight. And I felt like from that fight till the second one, he did a much better job preparing, and I got to give him credit where credit's due.
Yeah, 100%.
How big of an impact do you think the neck injury had on, obviously, like, because you just look like a different fighter this time, in a sense, like because I think the first fight, people were kind of questioning the cardio, where I thought your cardio was good, where I think your movement started to labor, but you were still like coming forward. Like how much of the neck injury you think like made an impact on you for this fight?
And that was the thing, is like people didn't understand. They weren't taking into account what I was saying. I was like, yeah, it's an excuse. It's a shitty excuse. Don't get me wrong. But when you cut weight, you have to do the rehydration properly. And I didn't calculate the time from 10:30 when we did a 20-minute hard morning shakeout, which is I went through the fight in the warm-up room with my teammates, hard 20 minutes. I felt like, dude, I'm going to kill this guy. And then a couple hours later, I realized I didn't eat enough. I ate 2 pancakes, 2 eggs, like a complete rookie, like a brief. And from 10:30 to 8:30 at night is when we fought, and that was all the fuel I had in my tank going into that fight. For a 25-minute fight against a guy like that was just stupid. So I made a mistake. He showed up for work. I didn't. And people said, like, the cardio was an issue. I came out too hard. The reason I came out like that was because I knew how I felt. And in my head, I go, if I could win the first 3 rounds and just empty the gas tank, I could just stall the last 10 minutes and run away with the title and steal and squeak by with the win. So in my head, that was the game plan. And in hindsight, I looked at it, I'm like, man, I could have just really picked my shots. If I knew that was all he had, I could have fought him at 50% and still been okay. But it is what it is. It put me in a position where he did something stupid, and it gave me a chance to do it the right way, because it would have been a long climb back to get to that title shot, you know. So I'm glad. It's kind of like almost a bittersweet thing. Like, obviously you don't want to get kneed in the head like that, but man, and the shots you don't see are the ones that mess you up the most. So I try to explain that to people. And then even in the second fight, there was positions where we were down in that same position, but I made sure I looked up this time, because I was like, if this guy is dumb enough to do this again, I'm going to at least be able to get out of the way, because I'm not getting out of this fight because he's throwing an illegal knee. So, whatever.
There were some times, because they mentioned it on the commentary. They were saying that like, this is the same position that we saw last time, and then
he read my rule book. I think he read the MMA for Dummies.
Hopefully.
That was one of the positions.
No one read it last week.
Oh, my God. That was crazy. Yeah. Were you watching that card just like, what are people doing?
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's sad, because you can game the system based on the rules and basically be winning the fight, and if you don't want to take the risk, throw a low shot, and because it was illegal, they deem it still like inadvertent. I'm like, it's not inadvertent if you intentionally wanted to knee the person in the head or throw the strike to the head. So those situations for those guys to get wins like that, it's kind of messed up, and it shows like there's flaws in the system. And if these guys can't go back and look at the just that play-by-play, that sequence, and see like, hey, man, we got a problem we need to figure out. Yeah. And if Dan Mergliotta thinks he did a great job with that, handling that situation, we got an even bigger problem, because then you're really just completely delusional to what's going on. You know what I mean? So these guys, I respect to the rest, because it's a very difficult job. But at the same time, come on, man, like, it's pretty black and white to kind of differentiate between an illegal strike, an unintentional strike. If I throw a kick and it just somehow travels when you move, that's unintentional. But if you're down and I throw the knee at your head, kick, whatever it is, that is an intentional strike. That should not be handled the same way as a inadvertent strike, and it should be deemed a DQ or a no contest at best, because they went 3 rounds already. Well, 2.5 rounds. So I think that's the way they need to kind of look at the rule set and kind of figure things out, because I don't think it's that difficult.
Yeah, even DC said the same thing on Twitter after. I was talking about how, what's his name? The Brazilian. that fought the Russian.
He fought great.
Well, yeah.
He fought great.
It was
he was
funny.
winning.
They put up your tweet, and then he did the illegal knee like 2 minutes later. I was like,
yeah.
But he was saying that I've never thrown in a fight. I've never thrown an unintentional, like punch, knee, kick. And,
DC said that.
Yeah, on
exactly.
Twitter. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Because he was even giving pushback to Chow on after in the post-fight interview, and then people were tweeting him like, "How could you do that? He was giving you respect as the double champ." And then he went on Twitter and said, "I've never thrown an unintentional strike in a UFC fight because I'm being intentional in there." Of course, because it's like that's your work.
Exactly. You should know the rule set. And if you throw something and it lands, I'm pretty sure you threw it because you wanted it to land. It's pretty black and white. And that's why, like, even with my situation, I thought Mark Smith did a great job. I thought the fight was going to be a no contest. And people were like, oh, how can you think all these things and you're concussed? I'm like, well, because I got hit. I got a whole bunch of thoughts racing through my head. You think you just go blank and just stare into space?
Yeah,
like,
no.
Like, that's why people are weird, man. I meet some weird people, and there's some people out there that say some wacky ass shit, and it's just like, God bless you.
People say it to your face or on Twitter?
No, on social media.
Never to your face.
And if they did say it to my face, it's like, I'm just gonna look at you like you're stupid, and that's really as far as it goes. And I'm gonna ask you to please like remove yourself from like my personal space, and that's it, because obviously we don't get anything out of beating people up. Everyday pedestrians, so we just get lawsuits and
yeah, of course.
You can talk all this shit, but people don't have to back it up.
So I want to switch a little bit from fighting. I heard loosen you up a little bit. You've been obviously puffing your chest out. So I actually went to Cortland.
Yeah.
I spent some time at Cortland as well.
Yeah,
Give me your
nice
best
place.
Stone Lounge.
Stone Lounge was good, but Dark Horse was my sanctuary.
I knew you were going to say that. That was the other spot I was going to bring up. And you got a good story from Dark Horse? Anything in college
Are these
days?
Bars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In Cortland.
Okay.
I got some good stories. Some that I probably shouldn't. I don't know if I'm even allowed to talk about, but we had some good times, man. I had some good times there. Some late nights. Young college kid chasing girls, and that's really it. That I'll just leave it at that. But we had some good times hanging out with Big Frank, Frank's Corner. He was always cool to us, especially when I came back and visited a lot more. But I was able to go back, November of 2021. So that was cool. Last minute, being able to kind of just walk around campus, see the kids, take some pictures and stuff like that. And I did a random meetup, just like, hey guys, I'm gonna be at the Horse. If you guys come down, come take some pictures. They were trying to get me like trash. I was like, dude, I have a limit. I am no longer 21, and I got to kind of cool it a little bit so I could wake up in the morning.
Yeah. I would say the reception there must be awesome. Like having obviously a smaller school, having a huge star athlete, that must be you got to be the biggest thing out of there for sure, right?
Maybe.
They got a good football program, but it still is D3.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else, actors. I feel like there was a famous actor that went there, Kevin Lee. Wow.
Kevin Lee, yeah.
Kevin James.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Paul Blart?
Yeah, I think he went there.
Unreal.
I could be wrong, so that people don't butcher me. But yeah, in terms of athletics, I think I would say probably so. But now, winning the belt now like this, I think it's a much different feel for them. And I think for everybody, even for myself, obviously no one wants to win the belt on a DQ. But if I had to win Russian roulette with a 0-0, I'll take the 0-0 win and take that money all day long. So
yeah,
that's pretty much what I did with that. And we got to spin it and flip it and double it up.
And you called out 50 Cent afterwards. You want to be a part of his universe?
Oh, 100%. So I did For Life. We did a couple episodes on that. I was one of the inmates. I actually spot him in one of the episodes. I think it was episode 6 or something. I have to go back and find it. That was cool working with him on set. He was funny as hell. Me, Weidman, Vellante, Ryan LaFleur, Eddie Truck Gordon.
That's a great squad.
Yeah, Terrence. There was a whole bunch of us fighters, local guys. Jay Hyron plugged us in. He was like, hey, man, we need some fighters that can do some stunt roles. So I got in. That got me my SAG card right away. So I did that, then started doing some other acting gigs. Just did 2 movies, small roles, small parts. And I'm hoping that actually does something just to get my feet wet, because life after fighting, you got to think about that stuff. And even right now, I'm in the midst of building a rum company. And I'm hoping that this could be something. I don't want to be like the McGregors and that thing, but it'd be cool to have it.
You have a name yet?
I do, but I don't know if I could give that out because
Okay.
it's not trademark.
Secret, top
you know, so
secret,
I don't
under
wanna-
embargo. Yeah.
You'll have to
yeah.
send us some though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm working on the label and the packaging right now,
Awesome.
and I think that's going to be a really cool thing. Just to have something. I like to drink, and I want to be able to have something I can enjoy when it's over.
And it's yours.
And it's mine. You
Yeah.
know, so fighting, you can only fight so much in a year. Like this was something for.
Oh yeah.
I guess a lifetime, and whatever. We'll see what happens. This is just a venture. We'll see where that goes, and I just got a couple more ass I got to kick a little bit, and before we fully exit.
You're looking up at the rankings here. It seems that TJ Dillashaw will be next for you.
Dillashaw.
Dillashaw. Yeah.
Needle Shaw.
And you haven't been. I saw you on DC and RC. You haven't been, secret about the fact that you think that he thinks, or that you think he's been doing steroids his entire career, basically.
Well, his teammate tattled on him in front of everyone at the media press conference before he fought Garbrandt. It's literally public knowledge. So it's like people are like, "How you have no evidence?" I'm like, dude, his teammate said it. How much more evidence do you need? What? So is his teammate lying? You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. It's like where the smoke, there's fire, and I've heard that even before Garbrandt said anything about him. So. Like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. And this is honestly so surreal to me because, wrestling, I came up short. It took second in the county to go to qualify for the New York State tournament. I was ranked in the state, never got a chance to go because I didn't place the year before because I choked. And then to go make second after beating this guy last week, 2 weeks and early in the season. And then he beats me in the biggest moment. And then go to college being ranked as high as number 1 and then still taking 4th and taking 6th. At the national tournament, so this for me, man, this is like the pillar of everything. This just kind of brings everything that I've done as an athlete to a culmination and the pinnacle of everything, So seeing this is just like, wow, we did it. And
Yeah, we hear a lot from, not just from the interview or the fighters that we interview, but also that listening to other people interview fighters. There's that kind of they can't get their 2, their 3, but they can't get to number 1, even in their wrestling careers or whatever they've competed in before MMA. And it's always cool to see when someone kind of gets that thing off their back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look at that. You got 2 guys from Long Island, myself and Marab, in the top 6. It was just insane.
Would you ever fight him?
No.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, like, they would have to pay us, like,
A lot.
$10 million plus dollars, which I know Dana's not going to do because he's just...
Does Marab have a fight booked yet for his next one?
Not officially.
Okay.
I don't know if I can really talk about that, but I think they're working on someone in the that top 8 realm for him, so... We'll see. He's got a huge career ahead of him as well. He wants to fight till he's 50, though. That guy's crazy.
Oh
He's
my God.
out of his mind.
His pose to him jumping into the frozen lake was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
That's him, and that's the epitome of Marab. He just does some crazy ass shit. He'll hike the mountains over in Vegas, and he'll just sprint uphill, downhill. I'm like, dude, you are scaring everybody. It's like, I think he just posted one. He was doing like spins. He was running down, then doing spins, and then jumping to the other one. I was like, bro, you are a different human being because I would never do that. I just think about my neck. I'm like, if I fall, man, that's literally it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that. But yeah, this I'm like, man, I see all these guys on this roster that I've beaten and that are still within the top 10, top 15. It's pretty wild, So yeah.
Do you remember in the fight when Ray Longo was just screaming, "Look at him! Look
Yeah.
at him!
Look at that motherfucker.
Look at that! that
was
got caught on pay-per-view, and
Awesome.
everybody loved it. They were just like, "That guy's fucking the man."
No, that was great. Because that's when I walked back and I was kind of like, "This is your king."
Yeah.
Huh? And then he comes in. And he's
when
like,
you got him in the same position in the 3rd round again, you had that. I think you looked back to your corner, maybe the camera, and you smiled, and you're like, yeah, that was awesome too. Everyone.
yeah.
One of my favorite videos was when Ray Longo put together the drive-by support in the
yes.
in the parking lot, where it's just getting everyone to honk their cars, and that was during COVID, I guess.
Yeah,
that was
'cause-
just so cool to see, how vital he is to all of his fighters, the fighters that he's coached to championships that were underdogs. It's awesome to see Ray Longo get the credit that he deserves, I think.
He's the man, We always break down tape and just kind of pick each other's brain and what we're seeing, and we're usually right there with each other, like always in sync in terms of like what we think we can do to win the fight. For the most part, most of the game plan is pretty much the same. Use your footwork, don't get hit, hit them where you can hit them, take them down where you can take them down, win the fight, and that's usually the game plan. Most people can't do that because they don't really have the skill set. Like, he truly believes in things that I still have yet to show in the octagon. Like, we've done a lot of game planning for this one, and it's like, I feel like there's like 50% of things that we didn't even get to show, maybe even more. And I'm like, this would have been so fun to kind of open up. But then I just thought about the last fight, and I was like, maybe I don't need to spin right now. Maybe I don't need to shoot this extra takedown. Maybe I don't need to sit in the pocket and trade with him. And there was a couple of things I was just like, nope, we're going to throw that away. We don't need to use that. We don't need to use that. And I was like, man, I'm beating this guy with just literally using footwork, fake takedown attempts to get him to just kind of – and the 2 for 22 stat is just so dumb. But I'm like, people don't even understand what they're looking at. They just see something, they see a number, and they think, oh, he stopped 20 takedowns. I'm like, okay, bro, if you don't understand the art of fighting, and it's keeping him guessing, not using the takedown to get every single one, and it's kind of just disrupt the patterns of his thinking, break his concentration, and make him have to really troubleshoot the situation, what he's doing, either give up the takedown or stop his momentum with him coming forward and trying to look for offensive strikes. So there's a method to the madness.
It seemed like it.
5th round ends. How confident you get in the decision? Like, how are you feeling?
I was super confident. I thought I had 2 10-8 rounds. In my head, I had 2 10-8 rounds. I was like, maybe the 3rd round, maybe not so much, but this is what I'm telling myself. I was like, but definitely that 2nd round, I'm like, I won this fight relatively comfortably, in my opinion. I'm like, even the 1st round, I'm counting the strikes in my head. I'm like, how does this guy win? Because he's walking forward, making an angry face with the artifice. I'm like, dude, you got to actually throw that thing and do something. You can't just walk forward and look tough and think that's octagon control. Because if you're chasing me and I'm pivoting around you and then hitting you and getting out of there, that is purposeful footwork, and that is octagon control for me. If you're walking forward and you're fighting the pace where I want you to fight, fighting where I want to fight, I'm the one that's dictating where the fight's going. So just because you're walking forward, you can't say that's automatically octagon control, and that's actually the least assessed thing if the strikes are equal. Yeah. So the strikes in the rule book. So the strikes are not equal, I win the round. So I'm like, people that are having a hard time scoring that, I'm like, what are you looking at? Like, that's not how this works. I hit you more than you hit me, I win. And the hardest strike of that round was the elbow.
First round?
In the first round.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I thought I won it pretty easily to like score, but I could see why people had like their butt hurt because they thought Yan by murder, Yan by whatever he wants, and that's not what happened.
It is interesting because like I remember watching it live, like the first time, like in the heat of the moment, I did think he won the first round, but when I watched it again, I changed my mind because of what you said. Like he really was, he was in the center, but he wasn't doing much. You landed the elbow, you landed some good kicks too. Like you definitely did land more strikes for sure.
I felt like my strikes were cleaner. I mean, the ones he hit me in my armpit. He threw a kick that I checked. I'm like, so if you want to count that and it pushed me backwards because I'm using footwork, I'm like, yeah, if I'm using footwork and you push forward as I'm moving, yeah, I'm off balance, so that's going to make it look worse than what it actually is. But the actual impact of the strike, I mean, the guy didn't do anything to me that first round, so that's why it was so confusing. But that's why I was confused by people's remarks. But I get it if you don't understand what you're looking at, and if you do go back and watch it. Even McCarthy, credit to him to actually semi-backtracking. He still didn't want to give full credit, but he semi-backtracking and was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said what I said while watching the fight with my friends and giving a bold statement opinion like that when you actually didn't even watch the round, you know? So I was like, I don't know, whatever. He annoys me, but it is what it is.
Were you bummed that Dana came out and said that they
Same
thought
thing
the
with
judges
Dana.
blew it?
Yeah. Same thing. Everyone was so pressed that Jan's forward pressure, he's downloading data. This is what he does to people. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are drinking the Kool-Aid, and I can't wait to just shut everybody up. And yeah, I think he did the same exact thing. But I think if he sat down and watched the round with me or my coach, I think he would be like, okay, maybe I was wrong. That's probably what he would say. Maybe I was wrong. You know, Same thing with like McCarthy. Didn't want to give full credit, but it was like maybe I was wrong because again, you can't say there's absolutely no way I didn't win that round. I outstruck the guy by at least 5 to 7 strikes, and I had the hardest strike of that round. That's actually legitimately stumbled him backwards. Not him kicking me while I'm moving and saying, "Oh, that's a significant strike that hit my elbow." I checked it, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed, fortunate that I can still continue to do this, and I'm glad the neck surgery went so well. And
yeah,
there's
really.
a moment where I thought like this was done.
Honestly, that must have been neck surgery is scary.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I don't have anything else to say about that. I was like, they told me I'd be back. I was like one of the very few people in MMA who've actually had that procedure done and come back. And the other guys did okay. I was like the youngest guy, I think, myself and Tristan Connolly. And I was just wondering, like, man, you know, I'm about to put this thing to the test and see if it's possible for me to get back and compete at a high level. And thankfully, I was able to do that. And after the fight, I was like, oh, this thing actually held up. So I'm happy, you know.
I was saying on a lighter note, so I had heard you tell this story before you came in. I had to ask because I'm a big fan of you. I'm a big fan of him as well. I heard a story that now she's your fiance. Before she was your fiance, she was a girlfriend. That Drake tried to holler at your girl.
No, it was Mayweather.
Mayweather. Excuse me, Mayweather. Big fan of Mayweather as well.
Yeah. He sent over his minions to try to pick her up. This was back in like 2016, I think. It was definitely after Weidman fought Vitor Belfort.
Okay.
But I was still undefeated at the time. So he sent over a girl. No, I think he sent over a guy first. Told us to, like, yeah, we can both come down. I'm like, man, I ain't stupid. Like, I'm going to come over there. You guys going to try to take her up and try to push me back. And then I'm going to feel some type of way and be like, nah, I got to create a scene because you're not about to punk me like that. Yeah. And he left. He came back with the girl. And the girl was like, yeah, no, really. He said, you guys can both come down. I was like, listen, I know how this movie goes. You could tell Floyd, he's undefeated in boxing. I'm undefeated in MMA. If we want to figure out what's the better sport, we can find out today.
Somebody's O has got to go.
Yeah, but I don't think they went and actually told him that. But
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm a big fan, but you ain't about to have me looking stupid out here because I'll fight your ass. Like, nah, we're not doing that. But yeah, those big-ass security guards over there. This was at Palms.
Palms? Okay.
Palms pool party.
Awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
early in your career, too, where you're like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah, he was like pointing up to her from all the way down in his little cabana section. I was like, man, you better stop.
That's awesome.
You know, that's why I had to ask that before we ended. That's a great story. I heard you tell it before.
Yeah. I was like, man, I don't think I could compete with him in the bank account department, but
yeah, I mean, few can. I mean, well, it depends on who you ask. The IRS apparently taking a lot away from him at all times.
That's why
he's not paying Logan Paul.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. I'm like, is that like a real thing?
Yeah.
Logan Paul says he hasn't gotten paid.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
That's
more than crazy. Like, I feel like he could sue him for that. No,
100%.
I think
he's definitely going to. I would imagine.
Yeah, gonna.
Yeah, like it's pretty. I mean, I don't know. That's not my business.
Crazy thing. I remember after he fought like McGregor, they legit handed him a check with $100 million on it for real.
Yeah.
Was it 100 for him?
Because he was he handed Mayweather like it was like legit one check, $100 mil.
For Mayweather.
Yeah, like after the fight, because he was doing an interview and then he said it and the interview was like, let me see it, and he showed it to him and he was like, that's $100 million check.
And the IRS came in.
Yeah, he had to get Logan Paul out. So this weekend's card, do you got any thoughts on any of the fights on this card? We got the sports book pulled up here.
I like the Charles Jourdain fight with Venata. I think Jourdain kind of came into his own in that last one against Andre Ewald with the Spartan kick at the end.
That was
crazy.
That was sick. That should be a fun fight, and the Clay Guida fight should be fun against that Claudio guy. He's a tough out, and
Guida always, right? Like,
yeah,
that guy always comes to fight.
He's a grinder, but I don't know how much he could keep letting guys clip that chin at his age, and come back, because his last one was kind of the same exact thing. That he came back and piss pounded that guy, but yeah, these are gonna be some fun fights. I kind of wish I was gonna be there for that, but I got a bachelor party.
Where?
Oh, bachelor party.
Arizona.
Oh, okay.
That's fun.
Should be a good time.
Yeah. You guys golfing or something?
They are.
You not a golfer?
You're not a golfer?
No, well, they're going like these days that I'm actually here. They started on Tuesday.
We're holding you back from the links.
Nah, I need to chill.
You get up to like 190.
Yeah, I need to slow down. That Sue, I don't know how to say his name. Majeji. Him and Cop, that's going to be a good fight.
That's going to be a good fight, yeah.
Cop brings it. He's fun to train with. I never spar with him, but I've rolled with him a little bit. He's tough. He actually kneed me in my mouth and split my lip so bad in the inside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I kept rolling. And then I showed him my lip after the roll. He was like, how the hell did you keep doing that? I had to get stitches. I actually posted it to IG.
How long ago was that?
This was in between. This was when I was, I think, going to fight in October. And I was out there trying to prep. Split my lip wide open. And I had to get stitches that night.
That's horrible. And then you can't train for a while, I assume, to
Yeah, but I
let the
proceeded to
decision in your
like choke
lip.
everybody out. You know.
Oh, yeah, of course. Some body triangles, yeah.
Pedro Tyson, Dwight Grant. Man, there's so many crazy ass names. This Cameron Else guy hasn't fought in a while. I've trained with him alongside him. I don't want to say train with him. I train alongside him in Cynic MMA. The guy he's fighting is pretty tough. One of those what do you call? I don't want to say the wrong PC term.
Yeah.
The Asian market. I don't want to say that, but I don't want to say Oriental because I don't know. But yeah, he's fighting that guy. But he's a tough dude. He's a big guy for bantamweight. He actually fought Paddy Pimblett and actually beat him. So I'm interested in seeing how he does.
Oh,
in his
then
return.
fuck him. Paddy's our guy, you know.
Yeah, he's been injured a couple times, so I don't know how good he is on like in Showtime. I haven't really been able to see much. I think he's only fought once since he's been signed. So this is going to be fun for me to see where he stacks up with all the other bantamweights in his skill set.
How prevalent are like gym warriors, like practice heroes?
A
lot, and then they
Yeah.
show up, and then it's like,
Yeah.
you like, oh, that's the same guy.
Yeah, I would even say I'm kind of in that category because a lot of the things I do in the room, the guys are like, if you do that in the fight's over, and I'm just like, nah, I'm just gonna take the path of least resistance and just take this guy down and just go about my way. So, but I know guys who go in there and they bang, and you're like, this guy should be like on top of the world right now or fighting for a world title, and then they go out there and compete, and it's like they're kind of frozen in the headlights.
And that's just like mental game, you think?
I think so, man.
Yeah.
I've known so many people that were like that, but they would just whoop ass in the gym, and then they go out to the fights, and it just wasn't the same person. And I'm just confused.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if I had that talent, I mean, bro, I'm letting it go.
But you said you take the path of least resistance when you're in there, so it is a little mental,
Well, if I
right?
couldn't grapple,
Yeah.
and I was more of a striker, I would do that all day long because it's fun to watch, but it only lasts for so long, that type of style. But then they don't even do it in the fight, so I'm like, you can't just have your best fights in the gym.
No, yeah.
They don't do nothing for you. You don't get paid that way.
I want to see that you unleashed against Dillashaw.
Yeah,
Just throwing crazy spin and shit.
I think I could open up more with him because his grappling isn't that great. Like, he takes you down, but it's just to hold you, score some time, and then let you go. And even then, he doesn't do any damage there. So I think that would be a fun fight. He's smaller than Petr Yan. So I think I can have my way with him a little bit more where I can open up if I get taken down to just get right back up. That's why, even in that fourth round, giving him that control time, he didn't do anything on top. But I didn't realize, I'm like, that's sometimes I do that in training where I'll hang out on my back looking for submissions and give up the whole round.
Yep.
As opposed to like, yo, dude, get the fuck up and get back out there and try to get the top position or get back to striking. And that's what I should have did that fourth round. And I kind of just was like, you can have that. And I did more of the same in that fifth round too. So I should have I should have 5-0 that guy. But
You learned from it though, clearly.
yeah, for sure. It's just, even Ray knows, it's like sometimes you just get too comfortable and you just hang out. I'm like, I know it's not a good mentality, but I think that's gonna be a fun fight too. So I'm looking forward to that Cameron fight and that guy.
Yeah, we're not good with the pronunciation.
Remember him?
either.
He was in that war. It was the first fight back with fans, if you remember. He fought Jeff Molina.
In Jacksonville?
Yes, it was like the first fight of the card. And it
Oh,
was
yeah,
absolute,
yeah.
like a war. Like,
Which guy was
unreal
that?
Fight. The Aori, the last guy, he fought Jeff Molina. It was awesome.
Oh,
fight.
yes.
It was the first fight back with fans, like after COVID. First fight of the card. It was a war.
People going nuts
great
for it,
fight.
yeah.
I think he did lose it, but it was a war. It was a great fight.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, should be a great card. We appreciate you coming in on the championship fuck you tour, as Big Ed called it, and we wish you success in the future. Of course, we won't be picking your opponents in any more parlays.
No more.
It's a promise.
Yeah.
It's a
Retired.
promise.
I think Vegas got that one bad.
You look at the lines?
really
Clearly,
bad.
yeah.
Well, people, I don't
Well,
look at
people-
it. Kept
but
telling me,
people-
I'm like, oh really? I'm that much of an underdog? I'm like, okay. Just hope you guys don't bet on Yan because you're gonna be broke.
Yeah, clearly.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna make Long Island rich.
Crash the parlay.
Yeah, crashed it. That was tough. First loss ever. But we appreciate you coming in. All right, thank you, Aljo, for joining us, coming into the show. He did Marty Jerry Terry as well. We got the answer to, like, how long would Marty last with him? He says 30 seconds. It's always nice getting champs.
I would say 10.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
I
he's
think
being
the
conservative.
stipulations were no punches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'd have to get
So
a hold
basically,
of him.
to like chase him down, take his back, and actually get him to either tap or choke him.
All right, so 30. Yeah, that's what I would set the line at, I think.
Yeah.
30 is generous, but
If it's in a cage, 30 is generous.
Was that the line for Turtle and Ronda Rousey in the Entourage movie? I think it was about 30 seconds he had to last
yeah,
for a date.
that was a big problem.
Yeah.
My friend once said that he could last at least 3 rounds with Pacquiao in a boxing ring. And I said, we were like 17, and I was like, are you serious?
I feel like he would murder you in the
No,
boxing
he was
ring
like, I'm
in
so
cold
much
blood.
bigger than him. I'm like, no, dude, he would destroy you. But anyways, yeah, shout out Willie Barron. He's a cop now.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he probably still thinks he could last 3 rounds with Pacquiao. I don't think his cardio could last for
I
3
think
rounds.
maybe it's good for him to think that. You know, it's like a good ego boost. It's like, yeah, I could step in there with Pacquiao.
He actually tried for a very long time to become a WWE wrestler. He was really close.
Yeah?
He trained,
wrestle on the indies and stuff?
He didn't wrestle on the indies, but he trained with Bubba Ray and
Devon?
What?
Devon?
And Devon.
Yeah.
At their wrestling
Like the
academy.
Monster Factory, I think they call it.
Yeah, I forgot what
like
it's
their
called.
wrestling school.
But it was in their wrestling school. He was pretty close, but then he just decided it wasn't for him.
Yeah, same. We've got some headlines to talk about in the MMA world before we get into this weekend's UFC card, which is, I mean, not the biggest card. It's not the most talked about card, most noteworthy names on it, but I don't know. These are sometimes the cards that surprise us.
That's what we
said last week.
That's kind of what I was saying
Yeah,
last week. But we're
yeah.
due. We're due.
Yeah, last week
week's
didn't.
card was a stinker. We're due.
We are due. Some headlines, the first of which, the Jake Paul-Michael Bisping fight that we talked about on the show earlier this week. Maybe a step forward in that, or there's an obstacle cleared because Michael Bisping put out a video from 2 people from the commission in Canada and Calgary, I believe they were.
It was right outside Calgary. I think
Right
they
outside
said.
Calgary.
So, yeah, Canada.
And they said, we'll clear you to fight. So
Alberta?
that's not an issue, yeah. And I don't know, maybe this is a step forward into this
Canada.
actually
so
happening.
yeah, they basically said we can do it in Canada.
Would it have to be in Canada, though? Is that kind of going to give Jake Paul an out to be like, I'm not fighting you in Canada, dude?
I mean, if he wants to fight, unless you can get it sanctioned somewhere else.
True.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I see it. Maybe, like I said, I jokingly said the other episode, Florida. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The commissions it's crazy. They have
Does it
such
work like across Canada, too? Can they do the fight in like Toronto? So
No,
it's on
I
East
would
Coast
assume
time?
because there's
So-
Alberta, Ontario. There's different provinces. They have
Yeah.
like 4 different, and they have different governments, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
They have like an overarching, but it's a lot like state versus federal. I don't know exactly, but I do know it's a lot different because like they would during COVID, there different places had different mandates. Like Quebec was different than Alberta, so on and so forth.
It'll be interesting to see if this doesn't happen. Who's Jake Paul going to fight? Usually it seems like there's almost like a clear, he's talking shit to this person, that person. Tommy Fury's out there fighting this weekend. Like, who is it out there?
I mean, if Tommy Fury looks good this week, I mean, I know I was very adamant saying he would lose. I still stand by that, but if Fury has a decent Tommy Fury that has a decent fight this weekend,
Is he
maybe
fighting a
he's
can?
fighting on his brother's undercard.
Is he fighting a can?
I
Probably.
mean, yeah, who else would he fight?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why am I even asking? Good
Yeah.
point. Who else would he? Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
mean-
way I've
yeah, I
said
mean-
that was so. But he was like, yeah, who else would he fight?
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
he's right.
his last
no
fight
doubt.
was versus
Yeah.
a 7-5 regional MMA fighter who was 5'7".
Yeah, it's
that's
tough.
just what he. Yeah, I mean, if he looks good, if he beats up the can, I mean, maybe they remake that fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've said for like a year that Anderson Silva would be like the next reasonable opponent. DC even said it himself. I think he used the word perplexed as why he would call it Bisping as opposed to him. I would be perplexed the opposite. I think I think I said it the last episode. It's just clearly a more difficult fight.
Yeah.
That
This
is-
past
it's
week,
pretty
too.
simple.
I don't know if it was this past week or the week before, DC had my favorite moment of the night on commentary when he was talking about a body kick and getting kicked by Anderson at UFC 200. And he's like, ooh, I felt that. I wanted out of that fight immediately. He's like, that felt so bad. I love when fighters retire and they could, let loose a little
Just,
more.
admit it, yeah.
Completely drop the shield of, I'm a badass. I'll mess anybody up. And just be like, oh, that hurts so bad. I don't want it to cry.
All right, so Tommy Fury's fighting 10-1
You telling me the guy he's
10-1
fighting has
from
no
Poland.
picture on Tapology, though?
on BoxRec. He
Box
has no.
Rec,
Oh
I
no,
mean.
it says please sign interview photos.
No, I mean,
It's 10
He's
all right, so-
minus 2,500.
Who Tommy Fury is?
Yeah.
Well, 10-1, but see then you got to go deeper and the 10-1 is against who?
Yeah, what's the combined record of his opponents?
Okay, so
13 and
the
247.
one loss was against a guy who was 20-4. His wins were against people who were 11 and 37.
Yeah.
18 and 8, 2 and 12, 14 and 20, 17 and 44, 4 and 6, 6 and. All right, so he's fighting
2 and 12. How do you go 2 and 12?
There's a guy.
Like, how do you
Tommy
get
Fury
to that
had one.
point?
He was fought a guy who was 10 and 126.
There's a guy
10 and 126.
on Tapology.
Somebody's got to cut that guy
And
off.
I'm going to text Blaze for it. I don't know if he's still defeated, but there's a guy on Tapology who's like 0 and 48.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think there was another one of Fury's record, a guy who was like 26 and 2, like something like that.
How are these guys getting sanctioned? Michael Bisping can't fight because he's got a glass eye, but these guys could fight and go 0 and 48.
It's literally like a professional tomato can.
Crazy. Some other headlines. Masvidal was on the Impaulsive podcast. You listened to this. I didn't listen to the full interview. Some of the highlights that people were talking about. There's one quote you said was taken a little out of context about Usman
slightly.
striking.
He definitely all right. So he basically, the quote was pretty much, he said Kamaru Usman was not a legitimate striker, which obviously when you just take that one sentence out, it's tough when he slept him.
Yeah.
He said it, like I'm not gonna sit here and say like he didn't say it. He said it, but in the realm that he said it in, it was more along the lines of like striking is still not like his like strength.
Yeah.
Even though that's what he uses now. He, at least the last couple of fights, he used it somewhat primarily, you could say.
Yeah.
I think that was more what he was going for. I get like it's easy to just put that one clip and people just would be like, bro, like
He
how
got
could you
knocked
say
out,
that? He
yeah.
knocked you out cold. Like I get it. It was more under the pretenses of him just being like, that's not fully what he does. Like that's not still like the sharpest tool in his tool belt.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he was saying.
Was there anything else from the interview you felt was like worth bringing up?
They obviously like danced around the charges and all that, which obviously he can't talk about all the stuff. It's like a under investigation.
Ongoing case.
They pretty much kept using the Will Smith like Chris Rock thing as like the almost like an avenue to like speak on like how you feel about this kind of shit, which was pretty funny. He kind of just said like he didn't say anything like too crazy. He just kind of, I mean, we all like allegedly know what happened.
Yeah.
So he kind of was just like, yeah, like I don't. It's just who he is. Like he just was like, I don't. Just like when you bring up kids
never
and
hid
shit,
that,
like bring
yeah.
up family and blah blah blah. That's just how shit goes in the fight game, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He also, one thing that was interesting was that because they talk about how they're friends with Ben Askren, and they basically said, would you? Because another thing actually before I get to that was that Masvidal basically said he's going to spend the next like year like just wrestling.
Interesting.
He said he's going to Pennsylvania like with that whole like the new facility that the UFC just built around kind of like join with like Penn State wrestling.
Yeah.
And he said he's going to go up there for a while and just like grind.
How do we get an invite?
Try
there?
to
We
grind,
should go there
grind,
for a
grind
tour or
wrestling.
something.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
It's not too far away.
Because he also, Bo Nichols, his training partner.
Yeah.
The former NCAA champion, I think multiple time NCAA champion, who's just getting in to MMA now. I think he's doing well in like his amateur career. He's going to go pro in the next like year or so. It seemed like he said, but yeah. So he basically said he's going to try to grind wrestling like really hard and try to kind of like give it one more shot because he was very like admittedly that wrestlers have been his Achilles heel like his entire career.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to try to give it like one last run to try to like get through that.
What was
kind
the
of
quote
thing.
about Super Saiyan?
Yeah, I think it was more he just kind of was like making a joke because they made a joke because he brought a big pack of Pokemon cards.
Oh, okay.
And
Masvidal did?
Yeah, could that like
As
was
like a
a
gift?
$40,000. Now I think it was more just him just being like, yeah, like I'm in the game too because
Yeah.
Logan Paul is big into it.
Yeah.
So he kind of just like brought it and was like, oh, like you want to bust the pack out? I think that maybe we're doing another video after the podcast or something. So he kind of just it was a joke off that, but he was like, yeah, I need to just like learn wrestling, go Super Saiyan, and like.
And he said he
beat-
wanted to wrestle Askren.
So basically, yeah, they were like, you should wrestle Askren. He was like, I would love that. That'd be like a great idea. And they were saying they should do like a pay-per-view like Askren versus Masvidal, like just wrestling.
Could Masvidal control himself in that environment, like to not like
just
throw
hit him
shoves
once he's getting
or like
once he's getting taken down. and
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah.
It was funny when they talked about it because I was like, the idea is like on paper is like fascinating.
Definitely. Yeah. Those two especially, like the personalities, the rivalry, all of it. Yeah.
One thing I still did appreciate though, listening to the interview, it was very funny the way like when they brought up Askren that you can tell in Masvidal's mind he's like he's just like Askren's still such a fucking clown. Like you could just tell not that he like hate like it's obviously way different than hating like Colby.
Yeah.
But you could just tell he's still just like
He's not gonna run
Askren-
up on him, but
he's like Askren's such a loser. Like you could just tell kind of the way he like was acknowledging Askren that he's just still kind of like
It's
He's a
still
bum.
like one of the quotes we talk about the most is right after the fight when he's like, "Why did you do that?"
It's my favorite quote. He's like, Jorge, why the flying knee? Because he's a bum. just the way he said it, so like real, is so funny.
Yeah. The super necessary quote from that was great. And another headline that kind of bleeds into this weekend's card is that Chase Sherman is back. Right after he gets cut, he's back. They're paying him double what they paid him last time or for his last fight to come back and step in the Romanov fight.
He's kind of the Romanov sacrificial lamb here.
Yeah. Do you think he, like, in the back of his mind knows that? Or do you think in the back of his mind he's like, no, I'm going to show the world, like, what I got?
I think a little bit of both. I think so. This is what I would imagine if I got to ask him the question. I would imagine he understands, like, he's not an idiot. He's like a plus, like, 1,000 underdog.
Yeah.
He understands that they're paying him more money because they need to get this guy another fight. He's a heavyweight prospect with some potential, 15-0. But also, you're going in there not to lose.
Yeah.
But I also think he's in I'm sure he likes the paycheck.
Yeah.
Like, obviously that's why he's fighting him.
I hope he goes in there to throw. Just brings the fight to him, sees what happens.
Romanov is just I just feel like he's gonna just put him on his back.
I
And it's
wouldn't
gonna be a
I wouldn't
bad
be
day.
surprised if when these like last second replacements come in, especially against a guy like Romanov, that I mean, you're not going in there to get beat up, but you're going in there to lose. UFC may be like, we'll give you another. Well, this is kind of like 2-fight contract.
I bet they do that.
Yup.
And you'll get another shot.
Look at Chris Moitano,
Yeah,
one of our first guests.
Yeah.
So
A lot of guys like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chase Sherman.
Chase Sherman. So he's back. We could start talking about the card. The main event, Jessica Andrade versus Amanda Lemos.
I don't know what to do with this one.
I don't
think
either.
Andrade, I lean Andrade just because I feel like more familiar with her body of work, seen her fight more, so I'm just more prone
Lemos
to like.
It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a fan of hers.
See, I think
What are the odds on
that's
this?
what I was gonna look right now.
It's like minus 185 plus 145.
Yeah, I knew Lemos is the favorite, right?
Yeah,
Andrade is it Andrade's the favorite? That's what that to me makes sense.
I think that makes sense. I think that's.
Because I was going to say if Lemos is the favorite, I would definitely go.
Think
the other
about
way.
the level of competition. What is holding me back from going on Lemos is the level of competition that Andrade has fought compared to. So it's minus 190 plus 150 on the bars. The level of competition Andrade has fought. Think about it. Rose, Whaley, right?
Yep, Whaley.
Whaley
took the title from her.
Valentina.
Yeah.
Lemos has fought nobody.
Yeah, not really. She got dropped by Angela Hill, actually.
Oh yeah, she had kind of a
It
banger
was
with
like a
Angela
war
Hill.
against Angela Hill. Which, no disrespect, Angela Hill is a good fighter, but she's been on the wrong end of some.
Angela Hill's been on the wrong end of split
We can
decisions,
argue wrong
yeah.
end. Yeah, she's been on the tough end of a lot of split decisions
Like, look
and
at
all
this.
that.
She fought like Miranda Granger. And Yo.
Yeah, no one.
Liviana Souza.
No wins of like
Ruiz.
significant.
Andrade was a huge step up from Angela Hill.
Yeah,
Huge.
I think Andrade is maybe a good thrower in the parlay. I think she's a.
I like her in the parlay.
I don't like her in the parlay.
No?
Yeah, Andrade, because Lemos is
But
because she had she's the more exciting. Like she has hands, so I think when you watch her like on tape, like you're like, oh, like she's gonna win. But I mean, Andrade is such a monster.
She's
though.
so strong.
That's what I'm
The way
saying.
she threw Rose on her head, that was scary.
Yeah,
that's like one of the scariest MMA
Like,
finishes
I just don't
out
know.
there.
Like Lemos is like I would imagine gonna be able to like pick her apart in the feet some for sure. But I just feel like if she's able to get like takedowns, like
gets a hold of her, yeah.
like she's gonna have her way with her.
Yeah. Those
you
arms,
wanna
I
keep her out
would
of the
kill for
parlay, we
Jessica
can.
Andrade's arms just to swap with her.
I just this card's is tough. It's a tough card for I think gambling wise.
Clay Guida, Claudio. Let's keep Andrade in our back pocket for the parlay. We may have to.
We do
use
want to
her.
win too this week, even if the odds aren't crazy. I think just getting back on the horse this week, like we wanted to last week, that would be huge.
The Clay Guida, Claudio Puelles.
It's like a pick'em fight.
Yeah, stay away from that one. I like watching Clay Guida fight. Legend, I always root for Clay Guida when he's in the cage, so I'll be rooting for him. But man, you never know with a chin like that. We talked about it with Aljo.
What about So I mean Macy Barber, I think
I
would
like
put
Macy
in.
Barber in the parlay. I think this is a fight set up for her to win, set up for her to come back. When was her last fight?
It was the split decision over Miranda Maverick, I believe,
Yes.
and she won it. But if you go to like MMA
July.
decisions, a lot of people were like really shocked by that. However, she did fight okay. I thought she lost the first 2 rounds in that fight and then turned it on the third. She definitely won the third. That Roxanne loss, she tore ACL in.
Yep.
And then the Alexa Grasso loss was right after. And Alexa Grasso was looking pretty good, I think.
Yeah, Grass was pretty good.
Now, Montana De La Rosa has been in the game for a while. Like, she has, I think she's on a little win streak.
She had a draw 2 fights ago. Forgot about that. Majority draw. Was there a point taken away in that one or a 10-8?
And then she's married to De La Rosa, who used to be, I think, a bantamweight. Her husband used to fight in UFC. But, yeah, I mean, I think Macy should do it. Like, Macy, she started this game so young. Yeah, she started the game so young that the improvements we'll see her make are massive. And she's still like 22.
Pretty similar to the main event, too. Macy minus 195, De La Rosa plus 150. I like Macy there. I like her in the parlay, too, if you wanted to place her there.
For sure. I don't mind Macy there. The next fight, I also don't mind Manel Cop. I think Suma Mudajeri, or however you say his name is, he's just. I think he fades.
This is a rough name.
I think it might be Mudahari even.
Mudahari, that actually, yeah. But I think he fades. I think he's a first round or bust kind of fighter, and then Cop is Cape or however you say Manel. Cop. I think he's a smart enough fighter to get later into this fight to find a way to win 2-1 or even 3-0, or even he'll. Mudajeri, I think, has been subbed like a few times, and I think Cop can do that to him. Like, let's look at the submission loss.
I know I've watched these cards, and I don't remember this guy fighting.
And then if you scroll down, like he's been subbed twice. Technical, submission 3 times, and then technical submission he's been subbed in all of his losses. I think Cop by submission. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's up yet.
Because even like the knockout over like Malcolm Gordon's
Malcolm Gordon.
Yeah. He's kind of like borderline USC.
All right, so the props aren't up on our sportsbook yet, but they usually come a little bit closer to the cards. But I like him in the parlay though. And then also taking him by sub kind of on the side if the price is good.
Another minus 195 guy.
He's definitely the thicker. I think Sue's definitely taller.
I think
Manel Cop's pretty powerful guy. He was the one. I'm pretty sure. Didn't he on the MSG card? He fought. Was that him who fought CJ Vergara?
You got the much better memory than me.
Oh no, he fought fucking. Oh no, that was I was thinking of someone else there. I did remember he landed the flying knee on Ode Osborne. He's a thick guy for that weight class.
His last fight, he kind of just like stood on the outside. It was a little weird, if I recall correctly. It was against.
He knocked him out in the first round. Zumalagev.
This guy, yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of the Pantoja fight from like last year.
He's fought a lot. He's
also
in 2021, he fought 4 times.
Cop's like who he's fought. It's pretty good. I mean, you look at Pantoja, Nicolau, Ode Osborne's nobody.
Lost a split to Nicolau.
Yeah.
And then Zuma Gulov kind of stinks, but that's a good KO. It shows that he has like the power to. I think he's a good price. I think he's good for parlay pieces. Good for our parlay. I like him. I think he's someone to keep an eye on. Not like championship, but he could be a top 10 fighter.
You know who I got confused? It was Ode Osborne who fought CJ Vergara, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
That was who it was. I got confused. He knocked out Ode Osborne and Manel Cop.
All right,
this
love
could be
Jordan.
Fight of the night right here. Yeah.
Venata Jordan, I think is the best fight on the card. On
surprised
paper,
that's not like the co-main or something. I mean, I get that they're not names as big as Clay Guida maybe, for people that know him, but like this is a fight right here.
It's gonna be a banger. That's what we talk about with Aljo, that Jordan. He had that sick, like, he had that Spartan kick.
Yeah.
And then
at the end of the fight,
yeah.
with the
blood, like, are you not entertained?
His nose and face all bloody and shit.
Do you both like Jordan here?
I do, but Orlando
I don't like him enough. I like him. I don't love putting him in the parlay.
No, I don't. Because
Venata's a gamer.
I like Venata. Yeah,
Venata's a gamer.
I always root for Venata.
Venata.
So. He's been in some great fights.
Groovy Lando. Come on, how could you not love that guy?
Honestly, one that's going to be a sneaky. Jordan Wright's like he's.
But he's an
Hollywood
underdog.
Ninja.
I think if you're taking Jordan Wright, you might as well just take him
Like
inside
first
the
round
distance.
KO,
First round KO.
Yeah.
But MAB,
He just goes for
Is that a
broke.
catchweight they're doing this fight at?
Yeah, I think it's 190. It says.
Weird.
Marc-Andre Brown. He was the one. He fought Chidi, and then he got knocked out
in
like
5 seconds.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
In his
So
last
you
fight.
could see that happening with Jordan Wright again. But I mean, I don't know what the inside the like goes the distance there. It'll probably be like not goes to the fight doesn't
billion.
go. It's like minus 1,000. But that fight's gonna be something. Preston Parsons, is that even on the card?
No, I believe it is on the card.
I think that's on the card versus Evan Elder.
Yeah.
I think I saw that on the official card, yeah.
Okay, so
Is that potentially is Elder? I think is making his debut. No,
Is he 7-0?
I think so.
Did he fight in Contender Series?
Yeah,
Or
he's
no?
making his debut. I was pretty sure I was gonna say
Doesn't look like it.
even is Parsons making his debut too? He might have fought once, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fought
once.
once.
Lost.
Got
Danny
knocked
Rodriguez, who Danny Rodriguez not a first round, but Danny Rodriguez is kind of a beast.
Evan Elder
Yeah.
from he fought in Shamrock FC.
Actually, Dwight Grant on the card, also a guy who actually that was like one of the comebacks of the year. He had Danny Rodriguez really hurt.
This
Yeah.
is
And then
unreal.
he ended up finishing Dwight Grant.
Yeah.
Evan Elder on his Tapology page has another fight scheduled for May 6th in FAC. Maybe that's
Do
just
you think
because
he had that
I
scheduled
think he had that,
and
and
they
then
called
probably
him
got
up?
offered the UFC. I'd imagine.
That's probably what
That's
happened.
probably what it is, yeah. And then Tapology just didn't update it.
Yeah.
Tyson Pedro hasn't fought in like 5 years,
But
but he's minus 500. I think he's safe.
Honestly, I like him in the parlay. Like Villanueva is,
He is
with
a
all
bum.
due respect, is just not. He's a guy who basically got to the UFC with COVID. He actually was who Chase Sherman fought in his first fight back,
Oh, yeah.
and he beat the shit out of Ike Villanueva. Ike Villanueva, he got knocked out in the first round by the Hollywood Ninja. Also,
The odds on this fight pretty much show that as well. It's minus 560
his
for
only
Pedro.
win, he fought a Brazilian guy, not great, and he landed a big punch, and it was honestly a great knockout. But every other fight, he's looked pretty bad in it.
Yeah. He's plus 375 here. So.
I like
I like
Tyson
putting
Pedro
Pedro
in this
in
as
the,
well.
And did I see another fight on the card where someone's minus 1,000? Is that the Mike Jackson fight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike Jackson. Yeah,
Maybe
which
throw
I
his
don't
opponent on the parlay just
like
for the
just
sake
because
of it.
just because
There's no way Mike Jackson's
Jackson
getting
wins
a
the
finish.
fight.
Yeah, there's just no way.
It's
With
almost like
respect
a
to Mike
minus
Jackson.
1,000. It's like banana peel money. It's almost
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
hardly worth like the squeeze.
Yeah. What would that parlay be if we put that all in together?
I said Dean Barry, Tyson Pedro, Macy Barber, and what was the other
And
one?
Cop?
And Manel Cop. I think we could sneak one more in there.
Well, I don't hate.
Those four gives us almost plus 200.
Take
Before a
out Barry
boost.
and what is it? Like how much is he
Plus
even affected?
175, I bet.
Yeah, 172. A few extra.
I don't
bucks.
hate.
I mean, Mike Jackson is Mike. He's Mike
He
Jackson.
As you
couldn't finish
scroll down-
CM Punk.
Yeah, throw Dean Barry in there. Yeah, that's
I don't hate Aori.
that's kind of what I was thinking
Minus
too.
250, yeah. I mean,
I'm worried on Cameron Ellis beat. Didn't Aljo say that he beat Patty?
yeah, I think he did, yeah, and that was the guy we said to fuck him.
So should we
bet against
do
him
we go
because of
spite?
that?
Do we go spite?
I think
or are we
Spite
worried
bet
that he
again.
beat
Nah,
Patty?
listen, we can't be worried about this guy.
Look, he lost to Cody Durden.
Yeah, I don't know if I love laying minus 250 with him.
Wow, he fought Kai Kara France
To
in
a decision.
2017.
Yeah, I don't know if I love laying minus 250 with him.
Yeah. I mean, listen, plus 200 before the boost, just getting back on the horse, I don't hate. I don't hate the parlay we got right now.
Let's see one go in. Just make a layup.
Let's just
Hopefully
see
knock
one
on
go
wood.
in, get
Then
the
it's gonna say
yips
that,
out
and
of
then
our system.
Macy Barber's gonna lose like a tough.
Oh my
split
God,
decision.
that would be tough. Yeah, if Macy Barber loses, she's banned from the podcast.
Positive vibes only. We're gonna win this one.
We're gonna win
So
this one.
The official parlay: Dean Barry, Tyson Pedro, Manel Cop, Macy Barber. That's the parlay. Went through the boost. Should be over plus 200. That's how we get back on track.
And the parlay will be up. We get people tweeting us like on Saturday, like, is the parlay not going up this week?
It'll be up Saturday.
Sometimes it takes until Saturday to get it up with
Yeah.
the system and everything, but it will be up. Also, we want to hear segment suggestions from the listeners, from the watchers on YouTube. We want to hear your favorite picks in the comments below. If you made it to the end of the episode, let us know like your favorite player pick of the card in the comments below. I feel like that would be a fun thing. Or if you're in the live chat, you could put it there as well.
Please. I would say save it for after as well. Like comment live, but we want those post comments.
The post comments
then we can
also
see
help
them,
us.
then we can continue. Like they stay there.
And we will like take suggestions on segments, anything, interviews, people you want to see interviewed. Like we'll go out of our way to try to get those people. So let us know. We're very open to feedback on this show. We appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Yeah,
subscribe.
100%.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, the iTunes,
Like the video.
Spotify, and if you leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, any of those things, we'll read a couple names off on the show next week to show our appreciation. So make sure you do all that stuff. Bet on the Spinnin Backfist parlay on the Barstool Sportsbook. Appreciate Aljamain Sterling for coming in this week.
Legend.
And we will see you guys next week.